Wow, this video looks great at night compared to any other phone I've had. It's like past 9 o'clock right now. You can see really good. I'm really surprised with the quality of this because I can barely see. Like, the camera's much lighter than the actual light is. So just took the bike out on it's nice to go out at night. It's not as hot. Yeah, it's all of a sudden just have some hot days here in May, but anyways, something I thought that was interesting, and I'm gonna walk this way now. This is a middle school. Again, I'm really impressed with the video quality of this. This is an iPhone 14, but I had an iPhone 8 for, I don't know, 4 years probably, and the quality wasn't that great, really. This is, for a phone, there's something in your pocket that does pretty much everything. It's pretty impressive. Anyways, something I found interesting, just being on, I don't really use social media, I guess. I mean, YouTube's kind of the one thing I use a lot. I just watch, I think everyone does watch videos and stuff, but I don't really use like TikTok or Instagram really, or Facebook, just because you don't get any traction really. No one, I realize, certainly as a guy, that no one really cares. No one really cares what you're doing. The funny thing is, and this is the point of this video. I just found it so funny that, like, you'll see all these, you go on Instagram or whatever, and you'll see, if you go to like just the feed thing or whatever, there's just, and as soon as you click on something, you'll get like 100 other related posts to it or whatever. So of course you will inevitably see the picture of the girl in the bikini or whatever, and like, it's like, oh, okay, wow, geez. And you go to the profile or whatever, it's like, whoa, this person has like 100,000 followers, right? Like, wow, what, is she some successful business person, or what is she doing? Nope, they're not. There's just a dime a dozen of girls that are, I want to say, that are in their late teens or early 20s that have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, and I'm sure a lot more maybe on like social media or whatever, TikTok, or see if I can get in here. Trying to do a lap around the track and talk a little bit. They have hundreds of thousands of followers, or just tens of thousands of followers, and some of them only have maybe just a few pictures of themselves, and that's it. They don't do anything. Some of them have like a page where they try to sell some, I don't know, cosmetic stuff or clothing that's branded with either their own stuff, but most of the time it's not. It's just some store that has stuff where they get paid if you buy it. They'll get like a commission if you buy something on their store or whatever. But I don't know who's buying that stuff. I guess it's probably mostly younger girls, because the guys are only there to look at the pictures. But I think the guys are the ones that are following them. It's got to be probably younger guys that are probably just probably in their teens or very early 20s. Really beautiful night here. I like coming up. I run up here at this track quite a bit because there's usually no one here. So that's the thing too about all these tracks, is that 95% of the time there's no one here, because it actually takes effort to run into. I run like, I'll try to run 20 laps around here when I come up here. So Very rarely is there anyone here, even on the weekends. Like, I'll come in the evenings or the weekends, it's pretty much totally vacant, because it's hard, you know. Running around the track it's not something even I really want to do. You know, it's a good workout for me, but it's not really something I'm like, I'm gonna go do that, because it's not easy, right? So, but anyways, back to the phenomenon of the girls. I guess I was just kind of like, what the heck? Like, these people aren't, you know, they're not doing anything. They're just posting pictures of themselves. And I think it's just not healthy, really, because it gives them like an inflated sense of value that they're these special people, when really their value is totally derived from, you know, being young and just posting pictures of yourself. You know, you don't even have to look that long and you'll see, like, there's just girl after girl after girl who has 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, and they actually they don't do anything. So or, you know, sometimes it's interesting because you'll see on their page, maybe they're dating someone, you know, and there'll be like a link to the guy, right, to the boyfriend or whatever, and he has like 300 followers. So the girl has like 68,000 followers, right, and the guy that she's dating has 300 followers. And you go to the guy's page, and he's equally as impressive, if not more, right? But no one cares. No one cares about the guy, because girls don't follow guys, right? They're not going to follow a guy just based on the way he looks. It's just like funny to me. Like, I'll see it and I'm like, oh, I bet this guy has just a few hundred followers. And of course he does, right? So guys only get followed if they're you know, actually doing something. You know, girls aren't just gonna go follow random people. Whereas young men, because they're so like sexually motivated, I think, like that's the only thing they're thinking about, that they'll go and just follow random girls, and maybe I don't know if they actually message them, who the hell knows, but like they'll think that they're gonna have a chance, or I don't know, but they'll do that. Whereas I don't think women go and follow just random guys. They only will really go follow people that actually probably have value or are doing something that's actually special. But there is literally thousands and thousands, probably millions of girls that are just basically just posting pictures of them almost naked or in bikinis or whatever. And you know, they'll have tens of thousands of people that are following them, right? I don't know if they actually get paid anything, though. You know, if you have like 35,000 followers on Instagram, and some of these girls only have maybe 10 pictures, you know, 10 or 15 pictures, and it looks like that's kind of like the main account. And it doesn't even look like it's an active account. Like, it doesn't look like they're actively posting pictures or you know, like adding content or anything, right? But they have 40,000 followers, right? So it's really again, I think it's just unhealthy, because it women think that they can, I don't know, like, again, I don't know if they're getting paid. I don't know how they get paid, unless they're trying to maybe sell stuff on those stores or whatever, but it gives them a sense of, I think, just like that they're special, when they're really not. It's totally just based on stuff you were born with. And you know, obviously as you get older, you get humbled by the fact that no one cares about you, right? They don't. If you're an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 22-year-old girl that looks good, you're going to have a bunch of young guys that will maybe follow you or like your picture or whatever, maybe even buy something or tip you money, right? That's possible. But all of that stuff will dry up eventually. When you're 30 years old, no one's going to care anymore, as a woman, just because there's younger women. And even before, like 10 years ago, if you were a young woman, you didn't have the ability to go online and just post pictures of yourself and get a bunch of following. Now you can, though. And there's certainly people do that. And I look at these people and I'm like, or I don't look at them, but I mean, I'll just go on there and you can see it. It's like, wow, this person is 22 years old. They live in Florida. They have 150,000 followers. It's like, whoa, and then I'll look and I'm just like, they're not doing anything special. They're just going around taking pictures of a beach maybe, and then, posting pictures of them in a bikini, right? So I guess if you want to call posting pictures of yourself in a bikini special, if you think that deserves 150,000 followers, then that's the problem, right? You're not doing anything. Anyone could go do that. Anyone could go post pictures, but the reason they like you is because you're obviously you're an attractive person. So they're going to follow you and like you and whatever. From my perspective though, and this is the problem with young men, they are just so, wanting to get attention from females and obviously be with women at that age, that they don't care about anything else. So they have no perspective. And as they get older, they kind of wise up. When you get into your later 20s, you stop putting women on a pedestal, and you're not gonna just do things for them just because they're a woman. You're gonna treat them as a human. You're gonna say, hey, if you're not at least being reasonable, I'm not gonna fawn over you and give you all this attention, because I just don't care. Like, I don't care anymore. When I was a teenage boy and a young guy, you pretty much would have done whatever, because that's the only thing you're thinking about. And it's kind of normal, because it's just biology, really. Like, men are just so driven by that, and they act so stupid at a young age and give all this attention. And again, in the past, women had no way to really monetize that, because they couldn't put themselves online or ask for money. They had to go out and actually do things in the real world. But now they don't have to. They can go online and basically do things that way. So I don't blame women at all for doing it. I would probably do the same thing if I was a woman and could just do that. I could post pictures of myself and get a huge following online, and maybe even just create, not have to work. Just do like whatever. You have an online store, or you're just buy my body cream and get 30% off, blah, blah, blah. And you got enough stupid people that are following you that'll go buy that. So I don't think any of it's going to change. I'd say pretty much everyone's addicted to their phone, because it's addicting, right? You can do anything you want on it. You can communicate. You can look at, YouTube videos. You can look up whatever you want. Who won the Stanley Cup in 1997? Who is the 13th president of the United States? You don't have to actually know anything. You can just look it up immediately. So, okay, I did a lap around here, walking very slowly. I know it's dark, so I don't know how the quality is gonna actually turn out, but yeah, I think that's why the reason society is just gonna be tough. And women didn't used to have to, women didn't have this in the past. They didn't have this outlet of getting all this attention. They had to pretty much link up with a real person, like with a real guy, when they were younger, because they knew that the reality of life was going to hit them. Like, hey, I have to have a place to live. The social expectation is that I'm going to get married and have a family. Now all that is gone. It's women can go, You can go on these social media things, you can do your own career, you're supposed to go to college, you know, you can have everything you want. And then by the time, you know, if you are eating up all of that propaganda, then you are a 30-year-old woman with no family. You have a totally, you might have a job, you know, you might have tried doing social media or whatever, and that it might have worked for some of them, but inevitably as you get older, you're going to have less and less luck. You're going to be treated as a normal person instead of like a hot 20-year-old woman, right? So social media is just a problem because it really only works for a small amount of people. I think only actually a small percentage of everyone actually ends up being able to do things on social media, and the rest of the people maybe try it and it's totally unsuccessful. But it's brainwashing people thinking that that's a, you know, legitimate thing, a legitimate route you could go, when in reality it's not, and it kind of makes your whole life toxic because you have these expectations of how your life should be. And yes, that's how the life is for like maybe 0.1% of people, but the other 99% of people have to operate in the real world, you know. So beautiful night. I don't know, I'm just rambling, but it just goes back to my when you look on these online apps, it's just like, God, this is not reality, right? You're seeing you know, you see people that are like 18, 19 years old that have hundreds of thousands of people following them. It's like, what the hell do they know? You know, I'm almost 30 years old, and I certainly wouldn't claim to be an expert on anything or think that I know everything, or but you know, who knows? I think it's really pleasant right now walking around. It's like a perfect temperature. It's probably like 72 degrees out with a little bit of a breeze. It's very, very nice. And I have to think that most of the people, again, I know I already kind of said this, but most of the people that are following these women are almost, I would say almost all of them are going to be younger men, like between the ages of like 12 and 24, because I don't follow anyone. Like, I don't even follow anyone online. I may have done it when I never did. Even right when the social media thing came out, I did not follow people that I didn't know or that didn't follow me back, like as just a general rule. And that's been true for 15 years, ever since I started using MySpace or Facebook. And I don't really I don't use those apps to communicate with anyone, because I'm just generally I don't really care about just following people I don't even know, or really even talking to people. But again, you look at the girl who has 80,000, 100,000, and I'm impressed by that, because it's like, wow, that is a lot of people that care something about you. And so I'm like, you're obviously doing, you obviously have some sort of formula that's working. And then I'll look at the profile and I'm like, okay, to be quite honest, you're not doing anything different than this other guy over here that has, 105 followers. All you're doing is posting pictures of places you go. That's it. And then, every third photo is a picture of you almost naked, right? And, oh, that's the reason. That's the reason. That has to be, right. No one cares about a guy. Even a guy that's really attractive, no one cares. No one cares. Women won't follow that, and certainly men aren't going to follow some guy that has his shirt off. They don't care about that. If you're a guy that's not good looking, it doesn't matter either. But even if you're a guy that is good looking and you post pictures of yourself, no one cares. Very few people care. You'll have maybe a few girls that will follow you, but most of them won't. They don't care. on the flip side, if you're a woman, even if you're not that attractive and you're posting pictures of yourself that are, I don't know, somewhat risque, you'll get a couple thousand followers, even if you're not attractive, right? Because men, like I said before, it is a problem with men or young men, because they're so thirsty for female attention that they will just do whatever. They'll cast out a million lines to all these online people, and of course the girls they just like attention. So you end up with a bunch of girls that have just like hundreds of thousands of followers or tens of thousands of followers, because there's the same guy is following, like the same guy. You'll see a guy that has 300 followers and he's following 1,200 people, right? So he's following, like, for every one person that follows him, he's following 4 random people that aren't following him back. Of course they're not going to follow you back because they don't know you. They don't care who you are. And here's my take on it. Hey, I'll look at some picture of, if I see some picture of a girl, it's okay, whatever, I'll look at it. If I'm just looking online or whatever, but I'm not gonna follow that person. Because they don't care. But I don't understand why so many guys are doing that. Like, why do you want to follow people you don't even know and give them all this adulation when they're not even doing anything? They don't even do anything. They're just posting pictures of themselves, right? They're not like giving you motivation. They're not, teaching you anything. They're not showing you how to play an instrument. They're not giving you life advice, because they don't. First of all, they're 20 years old or 18 years old, and they're just posting a picture on the beach in Miami, right? So again, I don't blame the girls for doing it, because they're just, I would do the same thing if I was in their shoes. But I think you don't realize how weird the system is until you get a little bit older, because you're like, oh man, all these guys are they're just so thirsty for this attention that they'll go out and basically make a fool of themselves, is what I would say. You just look like a fool, right? But it does kind of scar women, because it gives them this false identity that they're actually these important people, when really you're just as important as everyone else, which is not to say that you aren't important, but it's to say that you're only getting this adulation because you're attractive, or because you have men that are, just at a point in their life when they are so hungry to get some amount of female attention. And that is why they go around liking all these. I would guarantee you, if you looked at all the followers of like these people, it's predominantly men that are just looking for attention, and they're not going to get any, but they're trying, right? So the whole thing's funny. I'm sure if you guys spent any time like on I don't know, I don't really use TikTok or anything, but Instagram, it's just funny, because again, the example is, you have the girl that has like 100,000 followers, and she'll put the link to her boyfriend or whatever online. I'm like, oh, her boyfriend must be someone important, because she has 100,000 people that cared enough to follow her. You go to her boyfriend, he's got 300 or 400 followers, right? No one cares about the guy. No one. Because what is he doing? He's probably not posting a bunch of pictures of himself shirtless at the beach, but even if he was, no one cares. Women are not going to follow that, right? And guys don't care either. They're not going to follow some guy. And honestly, there might be a guy that actually provides more value, like he's doing things, he's meeting people, he's doing different videos, not just posting pictures, and he'll have 300 or 400 followers. So the whole thing's crazy. If you guys made it to this point of the video, I'm impressed. And let me know if you have any comments. I don't know. So have a good night. I'm gonna ride this Goldwing, take advantage of this weather, and we'll see you on maybe the next video. Bye-bye.